So yesterday while I was out playing catching swarms, just over there is, I don't know if you can see through there, the yellow just there, there's about 8 hectares of rapeseed. All that, a lot up there, are just going mad on it, and obviously this is happening now. No matter what you do, you're going to get some of this. Beautiful swarm, absolutely massive. I'm surprised that came out of one of those boxes, as all those boxes there are overwintered nukes transferred into hives, and etc, etc. So I know they're all close to going, and it's not even hot, you know. So anyway, I better get my act together tomorrow morning and shift a load out. All the ones over there were also split. It just shows how prolific they are. So I better get on that tomorrow morning. In the meantime, we're shaking this into this hive. A dead out, I haven't cleaned out, perfect for a swarm. They love old comb. I'll just put this in and I'll take over it instantly. A real beast of a thing. It's almost too good to shake, but I'm so lucky it's a good height. So let's give it a shake and see how we go. Well, the march is well underway. It may well be 2 swarms this combined together, because to see that queen, the yellow dot queen that I did see on top of the frames there straight away, might just be fluke, but it could also mean there's 2 queens here. So I'm just interested to see what's happening. Tomorrow morning when I come back, I'll have a look inside the box, and I will see if there's 1 queen or 2. But this is an old hive with some honey in, so I'm thinking it's going to be good. I should be pretty happy with that. Anyway, time to go home. I've got a nice cold beer waiting in the fridge. Which was not unexpected, even in the weather we've got. By the way, we're still having weather that's a bit kind of in between. It's not even warm, it's still like 16, 17 degrees, maximum windy, you can hear the wind. And it's quite overcast sometimes, but the Nectar Flow is massive. But anyway, that's one thing. But while I was out yesterday catching swarms, I had a delivery at home. So this delivery is something pretty special for the honey house. And I'll give you a clue. There's the base that's bolted to the floor. This is what I ordered months ago. And you have to order this well in advance, because where it comes from is a family of beekeepers who make this, and it's the Ruche de Bézigny in France. And this is a crane for my honey house. There you go. So this is an absolute extravagance. I don't deny it. But this will make a massive, massive help to me moving supers in the honey room. So the idea is the crane will go next to the extraction line. And what it will do means it has a grabber on it, and you can grab a super from your stack and then transfer it across to your extraction table and then process the frames through the machine. The whole idea is this machine, although it's an extravagance and it's expensive, as I get older, it will help protect my back in the honey house. And it is a big investment. I think this machine's about 5.5k, that's 5,500 euros. But I think long term, I've got to look at my age, and I really wanted to have this kit in the honey house because I know that it will make a massive difference to me. When I'm tired and exhausted, it will enable me to move my supers around. Once the supers are in the warming room, they'll come out and I'll be able to unstack them straight away. So I'm hoping that it will make a big difference. So what I'll do is I'm going to get it out in the honey house and we're going to set everything up in its place. This is why I haven't finished the floor in there, because I'm waiting for this to arrive, and also because I've had no time. But this is the other part of the kit that is going to be part of the floor. So this has got to have a concrete base separate, as well as everything else, before I put the underfloor heating in. So we're going to get this out, unpack it, and then we'll have an idea of where we're going and where it's going to be positioned. So I got a little package in the post today, all the way from across the pond from America. A nice little thing was sent to me from Dan Long, who prints out new cages on his company. His company is called ZPZ. There you go. There's an explanatory leaflet there on these cages he's printed. So these are some new cages that take over from the Nico hair roller cages. And the reason why they're so unique is they're completely different in shape. So there's the cage. They're 3D printed, but they're printed with a special plant-based material. It's called PLA, but it's got a special extra in it to give it more strength. So they're really strong. In the bottom of each cage, and if you can see in the bottom there, in the very bottom left, top and bottom there's a little tiny reservoir that you can put water in, or a little bit of honey. Especially you can see that one there. So the whole idea is these are a different shape, and I think a square cage will help bank queens better than a round cage. Not that I've had any problems with the round ones, but the whole idea is people were saying they've tried some similar cages that were made for the JZBZ, same as this one, but when they were tried on the Nico, they kept falling off. But these are made and they fit absolutely perfectly. So look, they don't move. You just got that just right amount of friction to hold them on. So they've got an access point each side, but also so the queen can hide away if she wants to. So I think these will be really good for banking, but also generally as holding cages. This is my frame grafting bar I use. So I got sent this 30 in a bank, and they also sit in this holder. We've got a holder here that comes with it, so you can sit them in here, and they all sit in pretty nicely. I presume this is for when you're either managing the bees, or maybe this part could go into the top of the colony, I don't know. But it's just really good that they're all stacked the same way, and just a way of holding them together. So you can move them around, do what you want to like that. But anyway, they also come with a candy plug cage. So it says in the leaflet you can fill this with candy, push it all in that end, and you pop that in. That's your candy plug. And then you can also tape that over, because as it does say, don't forget that these can be eaten through pretty quick. The candy can be a bit soft, so you need to put a bit of masking tape over that as well, just to slow the bees down. But they can be an introduction cage as well, so that's pretty neat. So I quite like that. See how they work out. Anyway, thank you, Dan, and I'll get back to you when I've used them. But if anyone else is interested, look up the company, or get in touch with Dan Long. I'm sure you'll find him on Facebook, and just give him a bell and ask him about the cages. I've seen him printing these off. He's got a bank of 3D printers that are pretty specialised at printing these off all day. Pretty impressive. So anyway, just a bit of interest, something different. ZPZ cages that fit the Nico system. See all my hives down there. This is one of the apiaries that did okay, and we've got quite a lot of good colonies there. So I'm just coming, strimming all this area, whip snipping, whatever you call it. It's a lot to do for one apiary, but because I know the apiary is worth it, and because especially this year, it looks like our summer flow is going to be way better than the spring flow. But saying that, every year I come to put my honey supers on in the spring, and these cherries are in full flower. But they're not actually in full flower, only one big one, the others are just coming into flower. So, it's not all doom and gloom. There'll still be a bit of time left. But the weather is going to go off. The weather is going to be good tomorrow and nice and dry again. So I've been able to get in apiaries like this and trim and get out other colonies that are dead. They're all back at the workshop now. But I doubt I'll be able to get back down here next week. The problem with this, for example, if you have lots of rain, you just can't get in here because it's too wet. And obviously once you're down that slope, okay, you can reverse around. I reverse down and go around, and it gives me a bit of speed when I come back up, but you just got to be careful. It's just knowing your local apiaries. So I've been out supering, I've been taking nukes if I find a swarm, and as I go through colonies, if I find a colony with closed queen cells, I've been taking the queen out and making a nuke from it and leaving one good cell in the colony. I think it's the best thing to do this time of year. The problem we've had, or we're having right now, is the nectar flow. The nectar flow is so strong right now. This is kind of completely the opposite of last year. Last year we had a little bit more of a lead into the spring, and the nectar flow came along. I'd overwintered the bees really well. There'd been not much pressure on Asian hornets the previous year, and I know we keep going about Asian hornets, but it's a big factor in our beekeeping here. My varroa was managed well the previous summer. All those things add up to you going into the spring with bigger colonies, and that's why I had much bigger colonies last spring. The nectar flow didn't start straight away, and when it did come along, it was just a steady stream and we did okay. I had a really good crop, as you know, over 2 tons of spring honey. Well, 1.5 tons of spring honey, I think it was. Can't remember the exact amount, but a really good crop for me. So this year is the complete opposite. I'm finding colonies that haven't even built up yet that are still on 3 or 4 frames. Generally, colonies are okay, what's left alive, but they've overwintered on smaller colonies, and the nectar flow's gone from nothing and hardly any flowers to all the flowers coming at the same time, bang. And what's happening is the bees that are left are bringing in loads of nectar, and too much, and the colony isn't ready to deal with it. And what happens, they basically start backfilling the brood nest because there's no other infrastructure in place to take there's just not enough bees to start taking the nectar up onto the roof, up into the supers, which is what we usually have. So what I'm doing is, as I said, I'm going around, and if I find colonies on the point of swarming, if they have got queen cells, if you want to keep your queen and your bees, take the queen away, move her, because she's going to go anyway. Almost, I'd say 80% of the time, unless the weather goes off and you remove all those not closed cells. If the cells are closed, you've got to take her out the box, otherwise she will go anyway. Even if you take out the cells and then put her back in, just hoping doesn't work here. You have to really take the bull by the horns, and in the long term it doesn't make any difference, because that queen is so in swarm mode that by the time that she's ready to by the time the summer comes along, the summer flow, she is already built back up because she's in swarm mode. So you can almost take a load of bees out of the colony and they just go mad. They just go like crazy and do really well and build up well. And it's the kind of best thing to do. So you don't lose your bees. That's the most important thing. The colony, I'll try 3rd time. We've got a windy down. I haven't got my support for the phone. The colony knows it's about to swarm. They accept a queen cell, or the cell you left hatches out, all works much better, and you don't lose your bees, and at least you're not worried about that colony swarming anymore. But as we say, it is what it is. Just doing the best I can with what we've got left. There's been loads of things going on, as there always is. My son's 18th birthday yesterday, which was great. They had a party at home, and I kind of got out of it by 12:30 because I'm an old fart now, and I can't cope with all that malarkey of 18-year-olds leaping around in the middle of the night, doing crazy things. But no, it was good. So I'm just out today while my son clears up the house. But long story short, it's going okay. Just trying to get around everything. The weather is absolutely beautiful. Spring is looking absolutely magnificent. I mean, you know, this area is so gorgeous. And look at this, just so cute, you know. Cherry trees everywhere. But it's great for me to be here because I feel I'm getting back to what I should be. I feel I'm managing my colonies now. There's just so much food here for the bees. Everything you look is in flower. The only thing that isn't is the chestnut and the bramble, and that's what will come later. And then it finishes. I mean, without being all negative, there's like literally hardly much else to come. It's all the spring flowers are open or opening. So it's just come so quick this year. But anyway, that's a bit of an update where we are. I'm just battling on with it. It's all pretty boring, but it has to be done. I'm dealing with what I've got. I'm still making splits. But as we say, it is what it is. Anyway, take care. Speak to you again soon. Bye for now.